Good evening. You're listening to Adrenaline Radio. I'm your host for Adrenaline Motorsports. My name is Fred Blanchard, and thank you for listening. We have two in-studio guests tonight that are from the car show field. Basically, they are a couple of guests one was a contender for a Riddler Award in the Detroit Autorama, and his name is Brian Basic, and the owner of Roseville Rod and Custom is Benjamin York, and he's in town today for the car show being held at the Pomona Fairplex, which is the Grand National Roadster Show. And he was kind enough, Brian and Ben were kind enough to be guests on the show tonight. And what we're going to talk about is their involvement with the car show business and the awards that Roseville has been actually won in the cars that they've built for customers that they had. And we're going to talk to Ben about that, and we're going to talk to Brian Basic about his ventures into building a custom car and being a contender for a very prestigious award called the Riddler Award in the Detroit Autorama. Gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you both. Brian, happy to have you here. And Ben, also a pleasure to have you in the studio. And I'll start with you, Ben. What I'd like to ask is what got you interested in building of custom cars? Where did you begin with that?
Well, my father gave me a 53 Ford pickup when I was 15 years old for my birthday. And I spent 2 years rebuilding it and getting it on the road. By the time I had done that, I was working for friends in high school, doing welding jobs, some paint work, and
it sounded like to me you already had a reputation before you got into business and working on guys' cars. Was that through school or just word of mouth? How did that happen?
Through word of mouth at school. Friends of mine that were into older cars, needing work done, not having the equipment. We had a welder and torch and did a little more work than most of the kids doing bolt-on. And pretty soon I had cars at my dad's house and was overtaking the garage and the driveway. And one day he came to me and said, if you're going to keep doing this, you've got to go get a building. And I went out the next week, rented a 1,500 square foot shop.
How old were you then?
19.
Oh, boy.
I just graduated high school, and it's what I've been doing ever since. Never looked back.
Wow. Well, I know that having the privilege of visiting your shop, I was just impressed with everything that you had there and your staff and the location and some of the cars you had in there, from collectibles such as Chevrolets that I saw, 1931s, and I saw also some Roadsters there, and then some muscle cars too you had. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about some of your customers that you've done some work for and how they came to you and kind of the things they asked about.
Most of our customers come by word of mouth. They see a car that we've built. They like it. They want to know who built it, and they show up at my door. Most of the time they already own a car that they have dreams of having built. Once in a while they come in with just an idea and we find the car. And it's just all over the board. We work on whatever people bring us, what they're interested in. So we kind of work on the type of cars that are popular at any given time.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, in my association with you, being involved with performance engines and that type of thing, and I think that's how you and I met. And you had a customer that had a request, an odd request as it was, for a specialty engine, and kind of give us a rundown through that story. I think that we're talking about the car you built for Wes Cagle.
Yeah, Wes Cagle's car is a 70 Camaro, and he was having it built to be a race car, to be a drag car, and after getting the chassis and cage built, he decided that maybe it was time to make a show car because of the the money and expense and traveling he would have to do to campaign a race car. So he came to us and basically walked in and said, I want a show car. I want something that I can take to the indoor shows and win big trophies. And we started continuing on where after the chassis was built with, all stainless floors, polished inside and out. The body lifts off and is painted inside the body just as nice as the outside. And he had a small block in the car when we started on it.
A small block meaning what? Chevrolet?
Small block Chevrolet.
I see. Okay.
And in the building of the car, we got to a point where we thought the small block just wasn't going to give it the wow factor. And we started looking into a big block Chevrolet and to see what other options were out there. That's when we ran across the Nick Arias Jr. racing engines. And I called you up, and it just was a perfect fit. The car was about 50% through body work. We ordered an engine, and it just was perfect timing. We got the engine in the car and went out on the show circuit and really did well with it. Won a lot of sweepstakes awards at the indoor shows.
Well, you drove past the hard part about acquiring the engine. It seems that when I got the phone call in regards to wanting this type of an engine, I explained to you that it had to go on a dynamometer, not realizing the time frame you had to put all this together. And in the process of that, he had some specialty items that he wanted to be put on that engine, and that was another area of question. And I think that at that time he had a gentleman that had expressed interest in putting in an exotic fuel system on there, if I recall. And that in itself, it appeared to be quite an experience dealing with the need to have the engine right away and the program in which to give it the tune-up and to have that gentleman fly down with you folks. And then I recall that when it was time to take the motor, you had a U-Haul truck sitting out in the back of the dyno shop at that time that you wanted to take it immediately, if not sooner. So that Camaro has quite a story behind it.